So people don't know this, but Lupron, aka puberty blockers, they give it to children at 11 or 12 to block puberty. And this is also the drug that's given to pedophiles in prison to sterilize and chemically castrate.
Okay,
That's right.
Here's the thing. Lupron is temporary, which means if you stop taking it, you are no longer sterile. Hi guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a 15-year-old trans girl, and I post all things trans youth related. I get a ton of comments in my comment section asking me how I came out. And I haven't really answered them, so I thought in this video I would do that. 3 years ago, when I was coming out to people, I split it into 3 stages. Step 1 was my really close and queer friends. The second people I wanted to come out to were my parents. And then the third people I wanted to come out to was like my school as a whole and extended family members. First people I came out to were my close queer friends, and it went really well. It did take me a ton of time to actually come out to them. I think it was like a couple months of just wanting to come out, but never doing it because I was like really scared. But one day, the perfect opportunity arose. One of my friends texted me and they were like, I have to tell you something. I didn't know what they had to tell me, but I had 2 suspicions. First was they were coming out, probably as like a lesbian or something.
Wow.
And second was they had a crush on me. I didn't know which one of those it would be, or if it was something else, but that's what I thought it was. We went back and forth, kept texting, and eventually they spilled the beans. And they said that they identified as a demigirl. That was my cue. If my
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to talk about this young trans child influencer on YouTube. Okay, so it's actually shocking. I will be blurring out this person's face because it's just not okay that this person, to me, in my opinion, should not be on the internet influencing other young people to be trans. So with that, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for supporting and liking and subscribing and getting the notification bell to these very important videos. And I'm going to push back on this young child and what they have to say. So as you can see, they came out at, well, I don't know if it says it there, but it says this video is titled How I Came Out at 12. Okay, 12. How I came out as 12 as a trans kid. Oh, my God. So that's just it. So let me play some more of this and we'll get back into it.
friends are coming out to me, I can do it. I came out to her as trans. I told her my preferred name, and it honestly went really well. Now, I hadn't told anyone else in my friend group, so they were the only one that knew I was trans, and I was the only one that knew that they were a demigirl. We kind of like backed each other up.
I'm actually not even sure what a demigirl is, so I'm gonna have to go look that up. It's one of those kind of like emo or something, I'm assuming. So all these kids at 12 are coming out as gay and lesbian and emos and they, them, theirs, and non-binary and trans. So see how they're coming out as trans as an identity, not as a disorder, which is what it is.
And we became like really good friends. I think a couple weeks later, we both came out at the same time to my larger friend group, which was maybe 6 or 7 kids. Honestly, it went really well. They were all kind of queer, kind of gay. And then,
queer kids. The language, listen to the language.
I never came out to the rest of my class. Coming out to my friends and my teacher, it went freaking great. And I was like so excited. I was pumped up. But then
The excitement in all of this is so interesting to me. Now, that being said, I think it's very important that young people who are struggling with identity or things that are going on have a space to talk about this, but this excitement of it. Also, I want to remind you that you don't see a lot of kids sort of, or you don't, in my opinion, I've really scoured the internet looking for it, gay kids. They're all trans kids. No kids are coming out as gay anymore. They're all coming out as trans or queer or non-binary or demigirls or whatever else all of that stuff is.
the second part of my plan came around, which was coming out to my parents. And oh boy, was I scared. Like, I knew my parents were liberals, and I knew my parents are super progressive. They're on the younger side as well. So I didn't know why I was so worried, but it is a very, very scary thing. But one day I was like, shoot, man, I cannot take this anymore. And I told my mom, and she's like, oh, that's chill. She kind of went by the mindset, what you want, I want for you. And that was really freaking awesome. And then it was time for step 3 of my coming out plan, which meant coming out to my school, my extended family, and all of my peers. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't done any of those. I ran away, far away, and never looked back. So basically what I did is after coming out to my mom, I begged and begged and begged her and made up all the excuses possible to switch schools. Not even just schools though, to switch school boards. And I never ever looked back. But it was crazy. So the last 2 months of grade 6, I switched
Grade
to a
6.
different school board and just went by my preferred name and my preferred pronouns. Never told anyone I was trans.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to say some things that some of you might not like. Number 1, this is a 6th grader, okay? I actually have a child that lives with me who is now a 7th grader, but was a 6th grader, okay? So I've been around this young kids, okay? Play dates, all those kinds of things, parent meetings, all of that. So I'm around these 6th grade kids. That being said, I can't even imagine a child, okay, just being in 6th grade and now changing schools, which on some level, I think if you're going to do this to your child, might be a good thing to do. But here's where I want to push back on this for all kids involved. I was thinking to myself, what if this child was put into my child's 6th grade class and is presenting as a girl? Pronouns are she, her. Just nobody knows the background of this person who's actually a biological boy on hormone, Lupron, and all the other stuff to stop the puberty from going. Okay. Also having a stressful space of a disorder called gender identity disorder. All these things are happening. I'm wondering if they're getting therapy, what's happening, or are they just sort of moving on here? They never talk about the therapy part. So now this kid is in the 6th grade class with my kid or your kid, and maybe my kid who is attracted to girls has an attraction towards this other young person, which just happens at this ages, and you start to have flirting little stuff going on. But what if? What if eventually maybe they go to 7th and 8th grade and maybe there's stuff that starts happening with kids who start flirting with each other and have crushes on each other? What if my kid has a attraction towards this young person and then finds out that this person is not really a girl, but is actually a biological boy, okay, and is trans? And how would that affect my child? Okay, now this is a very is it controversial what I'm saying? No, it's an actual question. What would happen to a 7th grader or even a 6th grader who finds out that he who's attracted to girls has an attraction towards this person who's not really a girl? Is this also something that we're talking about? And how would that affect my child if he finds out about this, or your child? So these are things, are we even having these conversations? How is this affecting other kids in this environment? Not just this kid, but other kids. I find this kid to be really, there's some energy coming out of this child that's disturbing to me.
I was maybe 4 months into my social transition, not on any medications yet or anything like that. I definitely did not pass. I don't know how I did it or what I was on, but I never had to come out to my school. And I never...
Yeah, but you were living as a girl, okay? So whether or not you come out or not, you're living as a girl, which means that you aren't really a girl because you're not even on medication. You're not really transitioning. You're just socially transitioning, which I did as a kid on some level, but everybody knew I was a girl, okay? Everyone teased me that I was a boy. This happens. It's totally normal, okay? But you are socially transitioning. You're not really a girl, okay? But you're presenting as a girl and telling people you're a girl in 6th grade. And this can cause problems with other students on some level.
To come out to my peers. But then there's extended family. And I had a really good plan for this one. And I still abide by that plan today. The plan is basically just never tell them. And I never did tell them. And it's actually not gone too bad for me. So basically.
Okay, so Never tell them. Never tell them what? That you're a boy who wants to be a girl or that you're transitioning or all this. I thought this is a 12-year-old, you guys. We're talking about a 12-year-old doing this. This person is an influencer on YouTube. And I'm pretty sure they probably have a TikTok and all the other stuff. And they're telling young people like this kind of behavior. I don't know. There's just something about that's extremely disturbing. Now, I'm not going to finish it because it's the same stuff. And so basically, I wanted you to get a feel for this young person. Okay. So now they're 15 years old doing this on the internet. I think I look back, I think they started a year or so ago creating these videos. So I just am pretty grossed out by the fact that these kids have this access to promoting trans stuff. This next one I want to bring up here is her, I'm going to call her just to be respectful, is them pushing back on this interview I did with Blaire White and how we talk about the fact that we don't believe that there's trans kids. So it's going to be really fascinating to watch this young person who is transitioning medically see what we have to say and how they push and how this person pushes back on us. So
Hello YouTube! I'm going to be dissecting parts of Blaire White's videos, specifically those that deal with or touch on trans youth and their right or ability to transition. I'm here to kind of provide some insight as a transgender child. So I'm going to be watching Blaire White today because she has a lot of interesting opinions, to say the least, on transgender youth. Okay, so this first video is the truth about trans kids from trans adults. Oh, I can just tell this is gonna be great. And I just like to point out that the people in this video, they did not transition as kids. They transitioned as adults. So other than being trans, the youth part, I don't know how much they can really provide insight to.
okay, so hold on before we move forward on this. So youngster, I transitioned 32 years ago. So I have a lot of insight. Number one, I was also a child. Number two, okay, I also study and do lots of research on the long-term effects of what transitioning a child. Okay, remember, you're 12 years old. I think you're now 15, starting this journey on medication that you clearly don't understand what the long-term effects are. This is coming from your own desire to transition. Okay, so I'm gonna just say that here.
Pressing issue, I feel, is the kid thing.
Yep, we're definitely in alignment on that.
You know, the bathrooms are one thing, the pronouns are one thing. We can talk about whatever. There are kids getting really messed up by the direction this ideology is going.
Okay, so we're already off to a not very good start. They're already saying that kids shouldn't transition.
You know, there's always exceptions to any rule. I believe that there are some kids that might benefit from this, but on a whole, if we look at it, what's happening today, I disagree with everything that's happening.
So he's saying there are kids who might benefit from this, but see, I've already watched this video and he fails to elaborate on this further. If we're gonna say,
okay, so let me elaborate. So you're right. You're 100% right on this one. So I wanted to clear this up. When I made this video with Blaire, I think it was about 2 years ago, I was still on the fence with this situation. Okay, so at this point right now, today, in 2025, I disagree with what I said. I do not believe there are trans kids. Okay, so I want to tell you that I've changed my mind on that. Okay, I wish I never said it, but I did. I said a lot of things in my lifetime, which you will too, kiddo. And then you'll wish you never said it. Hopefully that's not going to. Anyway, that being said, so nope, I do not believe there are trans kids. I do not believe any child can benefit from any medical space to transition. So I'm going to take that back. And you got me on that one. So thank you for getting me on that one because I didn't elaborate. And today I'm elaborating on it and I'm taking back what I said. And I do not believe any child should ever be in a medical space. And I'm going to tell you why I don't believe that as we move forward.
Kids shouldn't transition and then say there are exceptions, but never ever touch on any of the exceptions. Like, what are the exceptions? Would I be an exception?
No.
Would I not be an exception? Who would be an exception?
I disagree with the fast, which we have been started calling it fast tracking.
Yes.
Of pushing these kids, like, if you're going to die if you don't transition, that's all complete, total nonsense. And it's actually, on some level, well, it's lying, first off, number one. Number two, it's putting parents in a very, very, very vulnerable space.
Yeah, I would say that is complete, total nonsense. No one says that. No one has said that, and I've never been told that in my whole life. So yeah.
Wait a minute, youngster. It's literally all over the internet. They say that if you don't transition a child, okay, do you want a dead daughter or a live son? They say it all the time. That is actually the narrative. So I don't really know what you're talking about, or you're either lying or I don't understand how you haven't heard that. It's literally the narrative that many parents who have trans kids have been told that this is what they were told if they didn't give their child puberty blockers or hormones. So I'm going to tell you right now that I don't know why you haven't heard that narrative, or you just didn't want to hear it.
I agree, it is total nonsense.
And we're not putting the actual real information out there. So parents don't have anywhere to go. If a doctor's telling you your kid's going to kill themselves, any parent.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to change my kid.
Right.
100% I am.
So he is arguing that kids and parents are being told their trans kid will self-eliminate. I'm a trans kid. I've been going to therapy. I've had a counselor.
Okay,
I've gone
great.
to many trans groups.
Great.
Been on medicine for almost 2 years. And I have been to countless doctor's appointments because I am trans. Never, ever, in any one of those situations, in any of my appointments, and any of my trans groups, have I ever been told that I will kill myself if I don't go on medicine. My parents have never been told that I would kill myself if they don't allow me to go on medicine.
But that's you. This is your story, okay? I'm telling you that I've interviewed people who's told me that their parents were told that. There are many parents out there saying that they have been told that. But also, I want to let you all know that this little person is Canadian. So they're probably talking about the Canadian system. Here in America, young person, they are being told that, and it is a fact that this is happening. So it might not have happened to you, doesn't mean it's not happening.
Misinformation.
And you have to remember that the kids are hearing that as well. And the kids are hearing, oh my God, if I don't transition, then, my life's basically over. And they're literally creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of these kids taking their lives.
There are statistics that show if your kid transitions, they are less likely to self-eliminate.
Oh, really? Where are those statistics? I'd like to see them because they're not being shown. That is that's not a fact. Nope, it is not true. It is not a fact. We do have statistics showing that a lot of kids who did take this route and then decided that they didn't want to do it do have this desire to off themselves. So I know of that one, but the other side, we don't have a long-term study of that, by the way, because this is just very new, by the way.
If you allow them to take HRT, statistics speak.
There's so much damage to be done to these kids through the medications. We talked about Lupron. So people don't know this, but Lupron, aka puberty blockers, they give it to children at 11 or 12 to block puberty. And this is also the drug that's given to pedophiles in prison to sterilize and chemically castrate.
Okay,
That's right.
Here's the thing. Lupron is temporary, which means if you stop taking it, you are no longer sterile. That is the same thing they give kids, because guess what? It stops the production of testosterone, or it stops the production of estrogen in the body.
I'm so sad for this young person. They don't even know what they're putting in their body. Everything that this person just said is complete total. You cannot, first off, pause puberty. This is a fact. Okay, you stop puberty. So wherever you stopped your puberty, it stopped. You're never getting that back again. Number one. Number two, the long-term effects of this medication. I have interviewed a lot of people, adults and young people who took this. The damage to their bodies is irreversible. So when you have a young person like this spreading misinformation about a drug that has zero benefits to taking it, other than that it does a physical, you are physically changing your body, okay? But what is it doing to the long-term effects of bone density, depression, also growth of your genitals? By the way, when you stop the growth of your genitals from a male to a female, you can't have that surgery that you would like to get long-term because you are now stopping the growth of your genitals. This is the problem I have with this kind of stuff, is this young person thinks what they're doing to their body is perfectly okay at 12, but it is being given the wrong information.
Body, which makes you stop going through puberty. It also has a side effect of stopping you from having sex drive. It has two good uses.
So see, this person is already saying they don't even want a sex drive. What? How can a 12 or 15-year-old even say that when they don't even understand what that means because they haven't even started that understanding? I interviewed a young person who was given puberty blockers at 12. By 14 or 15, they were on cross-sex hormones. By 17, they were getting the surgery, which they couldn't do, and they had to take part of her colon to create that particular vaginal space. By 21, wished they had never done it, realized that now they have never had a sexual experience, never had sexual feelings. Okay. Again, we're talking about a person right here who's 12 or 15 who doesn't even understand what that means and was happy not to have sexual feelings.
Scary.
People don't know this.
No, they don't know. I've been doing a lot of research on Lupron because look, I want kids to be happy.
Being on Lupron makes me happier than I would be if I was not on Lupron.
But when you start to do, it's so sad that this person is saying that. They have no, I'm gonna hopefully be around to interview this kid in 10 years to see where they're at. The research on this puberty blocker, holy crap, I can't even believe what it is. Yeah. And how if people actually saw the real truth in this actual drug, there's no way anyone would be okay with giving that to their child.
Medical professionals give out Lupron because it is the best option. That if it was so bad, there are many alternatives to Lupron that transgender kids can take that stop puberty. So if it was really as bad as guys wants to point out, we would probably not be taking it.
Wrong. Okay, and also my name is Buck, by the way. Secondly, nope, you're wrong. Let me just cite the study here in Los Angeles Children's Hospital, which was specifically about Lupron and giving it to young children. We gave this person, this doctor here, Dr. Olson, Kennedy Olson, whatever it is, in the Los Angeles Children's Hospital. We gave them a lot of money from our government to study this particular situation with puberty blockers. At the end of the study, the doctor didn't like the outcome of the study, did not release the study because they know specifically that this does not work. It is not a long-term situation. It is damaging long-term to the body of a child. You cannot pause puberty. You are stopping puberty, which is not the same as pausing. This is why this kid has the complete misinformation. It's quite sad to me that this person has no idea what they're putting in their body. So I want to now hit this next one because I think this is kind of an important video. And then
puberty blockers is what created the transgender child as we know it, because you couldn't tell a little boy that he's a girl, raise him as a girl, and then he hits puberty, and male puberty hits and he realizes he's definitely not a girl, right? Yeah. So all of these boys, they're not strictly transgender children yet. They're just children with a psychiatric disorder, gender identity disorder. Then the 20-year study comes out. They followed 44 boys who were very effeminate. They followed them all the way up to adulthood. Most of them are gay. Only one of them identifies as transgender. So if this field of medicine were guided by evidence and science, at that point they would have abandoned the search for transgender children. They would have abandoned the entire concept.
So I wanted to play that because it's a great interview with Mia Hughes and Peter Boghossian, and I'll put a link at the bottom. But basically, the bottom line is trans kids were invented when puberty blockers started. They didn't have them before, and I've been saying that. It didn't happen. It wasn't happen. And if it was actually really something that worked and was really beneficial, we just don't have the long-term studies. We don't understand what this little person right here is going to do in 5 or 10 years. And how is this person's body? They seem happy and euphoric because they are in this space where it is cool to be trans right now. And it's this awesome thing. And then they have a platform called YouTube and TikTok, and they're all promoting this stuff as if an older transsexual who transitioned as an adult, thank God, doesn't understand what it means to be trans, which is just unbelievably ridiculous and sad that a young person would think that about somebody like me. But they are being taught this behavior to also disrespect the older people in this community. I only want the best for these young people. I only want the best for all of us in a transsexual space. But I will sit here today and tell you that you can see the indoctrination of this young child. This young child is probably suffering with something. I don't know if it's just where I'm not a therapist, but I'm wondering whether other less medicalized ways that they could move forward in their life and create a happier space until they were old enough to understand the long-term effects of all of this medication on their body. Okay, so that's really my point in making these videos, is I think that these young kids are being duped. I think that people are transitioning for the wrong reason. I think that they're not going through. How can a 12-year-old have long-term therapy and understand that they have gender dysphoria if they're not even going through puberty? You don't understand gender or sex or any of that until you get old enough to understand what that even means. So that's why I can just see, to me, it just seems smoke and mirrors. And don't forget what I keep telling you about the study here in Los Angeles, which was not released. And there was a reason it wasn't released, because the outcome of that study did not align with this narrative that trans kids exist. Okay. So with that, and if you see this youngster, I just want to let you know that I have a big heart for you and I care about you. And this is not in any way, shape, or form hate towards you. It's because I want to push back on you, and I want you to sit and think about what I'm saying to you. And, you know, it's your life, and however you need to do it and your parents need to do it, I wish you luck in your journey, and I hope that it turns out great for you. So with that, everybody, thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, really helping this channel grow. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.